Alrighty. Yes. And today is September 9th, and it is definitely some wild times for the USA. But as wild as it is, I actually got some signs that we might be hitting a corner with this crazy shit in the USA. Now, it's still bad and it's still going to get worse, because daily this president and this Supreme Court and this Congress are literally out on the hunt for stripping Americans of all their rights and attacking them, sicking the military on them. I mean, you are watching this. You are seeing this. This is what's happening day by day. Scotus just released a new whatever the hell it is on the under docket, whatever it is, this shit that they just come up with and start making rulings without even having someone call a case to the Supreme Court. They literally just gave Trump and anyone else, if you want to call it president, they actually overturned president. And now they're essentially saying that you can actually racially profile in the United States of America. Regarding right now, as it starts, you never know where a ruling like this ends, right? But it allows Trump to go after, racially profile people, just racially profile, and this is coming out of the Supreme Court. So in other words, you have no right, to not be stopped for any specific reason. Just how you look is enough due process. It's enough. This is what the Supreme Court is ruling. And we're going to get to that. But it is scary. But as desperate as these people get, because it's not an accident, the Supreme Court simply rules with Donald Trump. They roll with Donald Trump. If it was Biden trying to get student debt relief, something that would help Americans, the Supreme Court would be like, no, you can't do that. If it's something about taking away women's rights, the Supreme Court, it's mostly guys on the Supreme Court, by the way. It's dudes. It's dudes. They will largely say, fuck it, take away those rights from these women. In a country that essentially was founded, partially at least, in slavery, the right to own another person's body, they would deny women the right to control their own body, right? And they do this. Now, has there been reparative justice for women in the United States of America since they couldn't vote, since they couldn't own land when the country began? No. The Supreme Court would be the type, because it's dudes, they would shoot that down, right? They also would shoot down student debt relief. They would shoot down farmers' debt relief, right? When all farmers didn't get their share of the initial farm help package, then you issue another one for minority farmers that didn't get any of the last help given out. That gets shut down. So the Supreme Court has found a way to flip flop on these basic things. So in their hearings, according to when you outline farmers' debt relief, for example, minority farmers, and in the language, because you include black farmers, they say that's discrimination. That's how the Supreme Court ruled. But at the same time, the same Supreme Court is ruling that you can racially profile and stop people. It's literally that bad. But just try to keep in mind, these people are totally desperate. And sure, they will unravel their plan as fast as possible now because they know the heat is on. I mean, they literally know the heat is on. So they're going to try to get as much done as possible because they know the people are actually getting the ones that weren't on it before, they're starting to get on it. Of course, Trump has a base, but even that base is getting tired of his ass. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Yeah, it's really, really sad. But like I said, we do have some heroes in the mix. Now, I don't know how many of you noticed, how many of you have heard earlier lives that I've done. For the last few months or so, even a year ago, as long as a year ago, I've been saying some things that I've been making some predictions, and yeah, in some kind of way, I would have to say some of them are definitely coming true now. One of the things that I've been saying is that this case is not just about the women. It's not just about the innocent girls that were sexually trafficked, right? That were sex trafficked. It's not just about them, although that is plenty. That's 1,000 girls, over 1,000 victims. That's horrendous. That is horrendous. By no shape, form is that not pathetic and pretty hateful. I mean, you have to really be hateful of women and girls and to do that on that scale. But in any case, what I was saying was is that sure, that's horrible enough as it is. So hearts out to the victims, because they're heroes in the story about who is a real patriot for the United States of America. It is those victims, because they're selfless. They're selfless. They're standing up, and they're doing it for the right reasons, right? Not looking for a penny like a corrupt bastard would actually do and laugh about it, right? Which is what a lot of Trump's cronies do, right? It's all about the buck. Now, although you have that, and they might be all about the buck, these victims are not. So they stood up. But in line with that, it's not just about the victims. And I've been saying this for a minute. It's about the espionage. It is about the blackmail. That is the bigger story. The victims is one story, but the blackmail and the espionage is 1,000 times worse, because it hits all Americans. The effects of it hits 350 million people. So if you could get a dude like Trump or anybody else, allegedly, or anyone else in his circle or outside of his circle, aristocrats, wealthy, to-do folks, judges, congressional members, Supreme Court members, businessmen, bankers, whatever, lower judges, any of that, right? Police, mayors, blah, 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 blah. If you could get any of them in a honeypot, you can actually control them. You could be a businessman that controls one of them. You could be a foreign agent that controls another one, a foreign government that controls one. And when you let this shit go on for 20 years and you got 1,000 victims, that's a hell of a lot of Johns, that potential people that could be blackmailed easily. And this is what I've been saying. If those Epstein files are not released, the American people will not know the severity of this situation. The U.S., it would be very, very difficult to protect yourself from further blackmail. If the slate is not just clean and everybody outed, you may not survive this one. You see, and yes, there are foreign governments on this earth that would love for you not to survive and love for you to be dragged into some sort of civil war, because you could be tinkered with, because your judges can be tinkered with, because your politicians could be tinkered with, because of espionage, blackmail, this kind of thing connected to a honeypot scheme. Now, one of my heroes is who? Jasmine Crockett. And she broke something down I want people to pay very close attention to. Let's hear it.
You're digging in and sort of unpacking a lot of that kind of information to sort of connect bigger dots to the dots
absolutely.
Oh, and put a like in the chat if you don't mind, if you're listening.
So here's the thing. Like, obviously, this is concerning to have a potential pedophile as a president. That is concerning, right? But this is like even bigger than him. I want people to understand the information that we were given about foreign governments.
This is bigger than him. And again, I'm going to say this calmly. I'm sorry, because I know people, I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to scare people. And I notice I have scared a few people, but I'm just going to say this. If you live in a state where you're allowed to have a weapon in your home, to possess a weapon, to have a license for a weapon, you should calmly register, go down and register and get a license and begin to start, take some lessons, go to a shooting range, but take some weapon responsibility classes where it's necessary. That's a good idea. Community should get involved because you don't know how far things can go. Now, I don't want to scare anybody. There's a lot of Americans that already have weapons and licenses. There's this falsehood that's been put out there in the U.S. that red state people, they're the only ones that like their guns. That's a falsehood. Blue state people just don't carry their gun on their hip. They just don't carry it on their sleeve. They just don't live a life of here's my gun, here's my gun. So those of you that understand that your nation can be threatened from an outside force or an inside force, calmly go out and exercise your rights. Now, take a listen. I'm sorry.
Their participation, the information we were given about the information that we were given about foreign governments and their participation, the information we were given about our own federal government and how high of a level we're talking about as far as like them being in cahoots. We know that JP Morgan Chase ended up paying out a large settlement because they basically kind of looked the other way as there were these ridiculous wire transfers that were going by. We know that there were fake corporations that were set up. We know that, or at least.
Now, even the MAGA folk are changing, but the trolls will never change. The trolls, they will see Trump in a picture, in a video with the little girl, and they will say it's AI, essentially.
We've been told that there were fake immigration documents that were put together so that women from other countries could end up over here. We know that there were allegedly fake marriages. This goes and it reeks through every single level of government. And it's one of those reasons that these survivors have been quiet for so long, right? Because literally they would walk in and they would see these pictures of Epstein with all of these powerful people from all over the world. And then he would threaten them and say, if you say anything, just know I know everybody, right? And so I think if we are going to prevent Epstein to...
Right. Ghislaine Maxwell, according to the victims, also was telling them, and it's corroborated among the victims, only for the people that care about victims, right? That care about the women who suffered, the girls that suffered. They were being told that, when they talked about speaking and speaking up and saying anything, Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly was telling them, and it's been corroborated, that we own the police, we own the FBI, we own the what is it? The DOJ? No, not Department of Justice, the DA. We own the DA. And a lot of people have not put that statement, put a lot of focus on that statement. But just to understand what was going on, you have to understand this is in Florida. This is you're dealing with billionaires and influential people. You're dealing also with a lot of crime elements in Florida. And New York is the same way. You have mafia, you have these kind of things going on. You have the Russian mafia in New York, you see. And when someone tells you they own the DA, they own the police, they own the FBI, that's like mafia talk. But here is what they were told.
None of the victims today have been informed about the facts that Maxwell was moved. And that, is another just kind of slap in the face. It's also, I think, really important. There's an element of re-traumatization here. Because one of the things that Maxwell in particular did so effectively is she would taunt these victims and she would say, or people that would be in a position to know things, and she would say, you can't do anything because we own the police. We own the FBI. We own the district attorney's office. And so that had a really chilling effect on people that may have been inclined to come forward, or people that would be in a position to know things. And she would say, you can't do anything because we own the police. We own the FBI. We own the district attorney's office.
Right. So that's what she was telling people. So when you hear this statement, this is a very similar statement here. Let's play it back.
you're digging in and sort of unpacking a lot of that kind of information to sort of connect bigger dots to the dots we already
absolutely.
have?
So here's the thing. Like, obviously, this is concerning to have a potential pedophile as a president. That is concerning, right? But this is like even bigger than him. I want people to understand the information that we were given about foreign governments and their participation, the information we were given about our own federal government and how high of a level we're talking about as far as like them being in cahoots. We know that JP Morgan Chase ended up paying out a large settlement because they basically kind of looked the other way as there were these ridiculous wire transfers that were going by. We know that there were fake corporations that were set up. We know that, or at least we've been told that there were fake immigration documents that were put together so that women from other countries could end up over here. We know that there were allegedly fake marriages. This goes and it reeks through every single level of government. And it's one of those reasons that these survivors have been quiet for so long, right? Because literally they would walk in and they would see these pictures of Epstein with all of these powerful people from all over the world. And then he would threaten them and say, if you say anything, just know I know everybody, right? And so I think if we are going to prevent Epstein 2.0, or if Epstein 2.0 is taking place right now, I think it's important that we nip this in the bud right now and we learn what we did not know and we put some safeguards in place to prevent this type of thing from happening.
Now, this is exactly right. This is exactly right. Now, you may not hear it in legacy media, but there's a lot of reasons why you may not have heard it before. But number one, anybody that's been listening to me for some months or weeks knows that I've been saying this the entire time. Like, this is danger for the United States of America. This is espionage on the highest level. This is blackmail on the highest level. This is a threat to the United States of America. This is a real lethal threat. But again, calmly do whatever you have to do. People know and can see it. People are beginning to see it for what it is. You could have judges. You could have congressional members. You can have senators. You can have other individuals, mayors, governors. You could have just any type, right, that have been a part of this blackmail honeypot scheme, that have found themselves out there on a tape or two, a photograph or two. And these photographs and these tapes, they could be passed around to many people. They could be sold. But going back to Donald Trump's behavior, the allegation, and then it's already coming out in the EU media. Just a week ago, the Portuguese president just came out in national news saying that Trump is definitely a Russian asset, meaning they have compromising information on him too. Now, whether that's what's in the FBI in the Epstein files, or if it's additional stuff, that's yet to be seen. But anyone, if they were a guessing person, would guess that the reason why Trump's behaving the way he does around Putin is because of this type of stuff here. Foreign influence. Now, I love this sister right here because she's not giving away everything that they heard in this meeting. And she's going to explain a few things, how this process is going to work out, and what's going on right now. Not that there's a whole lot more that's going to happen, but let's go.
Sweetheart deal. As you begin to build a case, do you see the most value in the documents, or do you see the value in sort of these people who can give you firsthand testimony about what it is that happened and what it is you should be looking for?
I think that to start the case, it's the documents for me, right? Because, I tell people all the time, I bring receipts, right? Like, they are irrefutable. So when we start to talk about things such as it's about following the money. Mm-hmm. This is a big money situation. So Like, how are you going to refute this, right? Like
Transactions
the
are
fact that
transactions.
exactly,
They're recorded. Yeah.
exactly. And so, like, to make it to where this is not political, to make it to where it's literally just getting down.
Now, I really do like how she gave the caveat out there because it's really necessary in these times. Espionage and an attack on your government should not be seen as political. So people that want to keep going in their Democrat or Republican bag at this moment, you're crazy. Because again, this is about an attack, and that is not Republican or Democrat. That's about citizens. No one should care if you're a Republican or Democrat. You can't see this through the lens of Republican or Democrat because the attack is from people that hate both. That hate the United States of America, hate Republicans, hate Democrats, hate MAGA people. Like, seriously. I mean, but let's continue.
Down to the nitty gritty, for me, it starts with the documents. Remember, the president has said, oh, this is a Democratic hoax. And then we know that we heard from at least one survivor saying, listen, I voted for you. Like, I trusted that you really wanted to get to the bottom of this, which honestly, if you're not involved, then like, why would you then kind of want to sweep this under the rug? So for me to get it kind of out of the political realm, I would actually want to start with the actual documents, such as the birthday book. It is what it is. Like, bro, you said there was no note to your homeboy, and we've got it, and it's kind of icky, as well as like
Exactly. The birthday book, which everyone has already seen a month ago, right? But now, since dumbass Trump sued the Wall Street Journal to say that, hey, that book doesn't exist. I didn't sign it. It's not my, all kinds of things. His whole administration has said all kinds of shit, which is normal for his administration to do. It's normal for his administration to say all kinds of shit, flip flop, left, right, up, down, any old way. It doesn't even matter because that base is like a goddamn cult. And like cult members that escape, they can tell you the senselessness of it. Like the leader will just gaslight you to death, gaslight you to death, gaslight you to death, and you will sit there and accept anything. And that's pretty much the MAGA base at this point, right? Yeah. But in any case, let's keep going.
that was not shared by y'all. Maybe y'all shared it.
I love this sister, Jasmine Crockett. Big up to her. She is a patriot. She's a patriot.
Today. It's also kind of this picture, and it talked about the $22,000, and it basically says something to the effect of buying. It alluded to buying someone who had basically run their course. Like
the MAGA people are, again, the cult MAGA. I'm not talking about the ex-MAGA members. There's a lot of big up to the ex-MAGA folk, the people that just finally were like, you know, after a while, they were just like, what the hell? What the F? You know, big up to y'all, because at least the ex-MAGA people have some goddamn sense. But the MAGA folk, literally, this guy could be caught on camera or in pictures with minors, and they would still find a way to support him. So, yes, he has had the new revelations. These are not even new, but there's a new one. It's a damn photograph where the dude has the damn nerve. He's got the damn nerve. Oh, my God. He has the nerve. He has the nerve. Look at this. He's got the goddamn nerve. This is crazy. This is crazy. Dude, literally, they got a check making, pretending, or I don't know, celebrating the sale of a human being, a woman. Right. And people, again, I'm talking to the MAGA folk that didn't leave, the MAGA folk that are still there. Right. This one is for you, especially. Let's hear the excuses. Let's hear the excuses, MAGA folk. Come on with it. Come on. Is it fake? Is it fake, MAGA people? Say fake. Say it's fake. Say prove it, MAGA people. Say prove it. Because that's exactly what the MAGA people have been saying for a whole damn year. Prove it. The shit happens. Prove the next one, and the shit happens. Prove the next one. That happens. It was fake. That happens. It was fake. It turned out to be real. Listen, This is, I just want to see it in the chat. I want to see it. I know the shit is I know how things work. There's a bunch of trolls out here that these people pay. They come from a lot of different countries and they probably make like $1 an hour straight up, like flat out. There's troll farms everywhere. These Trump people use, these foreign agents, foreign countries use disinformation to promote, and they go after left-leaning. They go after podcasters that tell the truth about Putin and tell the truth about Trump. That's what it is. It is what it is. Yes, they want to induce a civil war in the United States, and the MAGA people were dumb enough to allow them to be among their midst, so that they became pedophiles that promote Putin. PP, the PP squad. If you're in the PP squad out there, put a 1 in the chat. The pedophile Putin squad, put a 1 in the chat. If you're in the PP squad, I see y'all out there. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, PP squad. I see you there. Yes, the pedophile Putin, proud. This should be called the PPP, the Proud Pedophile Putin Squad. All right, let's go on. Yeah, so they have this here, and to some people, I mean, I have to admit, I'm only shocked because you should be goddamn shocked when you see stuff like this. That's the only reason why. I mean, could I expect it? Yeah, but I'm still shocked. And you know what? I could expect it again because I'm telling you, mark my words, I'm going to make another prediction. What you're seeing in this little, family, what was it? The estates book, these little side caveat things, these side dishes, right? These hors d'oeuvres. What you're seeing, all of this stuff, this ain't got shit on what's in the Epstein files, like flat out. The Epstein files are 1,000 times worse. They are 1,000 times worse. Yes, they are. And you can have no functioning government with something like that, especially if you're going to keep it a secret. It's over. If those files are kept a secret from the United States people, I mean the public, if all of it, the United States, the more of it you keep concealed, the closer to, basically pure doom, imminent destruction the U.S. is in. I'm telling you, because this is not all of it. I'm going to go back to something interesting that Jasmine Crockett said, and you have to read, you have to really listen carefully. I'm going to play this again.
You're digging in and sort of unpacking a lot of that kind of information to sort of connect.
Sweetheart deal. As you begin to build a case, do you see the most value in the documents, or do you see the value in sort of these people who can give you firsthand?
Ones that was not shared by y'all. Maybe y'all shared it earlier today.
All right, here we go. It's
also kind of this picture, and it talked about the $22,000, and it basically said something to the effect of buying. It alluded to buying someone who had basically run their course. Like a person. A person.
Yeah, we have not yet shared that image with our audience. I'm curious, given that you have staffers going to New York to sit down with the Epstein estate on Wednesday, what is it you want them looking for in those documents?
So for them, what we expect committee staff to do is to make sure that the things that they did redact, because all we're getting is redacted documentation. And frankly, I don't think that the DOJ has actually been very forthcoming with a lot of the documents that they've given us. Obviously, we know that the early documents they gave us are basically things that we already had, but then they literally were sending us pages and everything black. I'm like, so the and A and U, that's gotta be redacted. So this is just to make sure that these are good faith redactions, unlike what I feel like we're getting out of the DOJ. So they then will explain the one thing that I was just talking about, it's a picture, right? And so it's got different faces redacted. So we don't know who those people are. So now it'll be an explanation as to why is their face redacted? What are we hiding and that kind of stuff. So at least the staff will see everything without anything.
Point that you made about that Alicia raised, persons that you want to talk to versus the documents.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate the lawyer in you saying, okay, I want to see the receipts.
Yeah.
But then there is the conversation with the people. Do you trust the conversation you will have with Mr. Acosta? Do you expect him to be truthful?
Do I expect him to be? I don't.
Okay.
Am I hopeful that he will be? I am. I plan to be in the room. That is going to take place next Friday. And I plan to be in the room because any skilled litigator understands how to make sure you can set a trap.
Major developments in Trump's growing Epstein scandal. Lawyers for the Epstein estate submitted the
Right. So
point that you made about that Alicia raised.
So this is not a normal situation. This is not a political situation. If you are trying to, score points with the Democrats or the Republicans, that means you don't see what's going on here. That means you don't see that the danger in what is happening right now inside of your own country. And I'm telling you, outside of the United States of America, everybody sees this for what it is. Even the enemies of the United States of America see this for what it is. They're out there talking about it. They see it for what it is. The allies of the United States of America see this for what it is. It's only people, and I wouldn't even say Republicans, I would just say MAGA people, extremists that don't see what it is, or online that could also be trolls. You know what I mean? Because these people don't really have anything verifiable. It's just, people get pennies literally to be on the internet. They get, it's crazy that way. But let's continue. It's troubling. It's troubling. Now, this is Trump. I'll give you an example. This is Trump's current job approval. But to MAGA people, they don't care about that. That's not something they care about. Everything is fake. We're going to go back to the photograph, by the way. But I just wanted to illustrate something. This would be fake, just like you heard people say the picture was fake. You just put up the picture of people holding a check where they're making a claim that they sold someone. The conversation is about selling a young girl who got too old, got to be used goods. Literally, that's the story behind that. They will say this is also fake.
Specifically, inflation and the cost of living. Trump scores even worse. 39% approve, 61% disapprove. And more than 1 in 5 Americans, 21% surveyed, said that they...
Now, right here. See, in this one right here, feelings about Trump's administration's actions so far during. Now check this out.
They felt furious with the Trump administration's actions since January, the most commonly held feeling among those surveyed. That frustration is spilling into the streets with mass protests yesterday in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia.
Now, MAGA people will say this is fake. The cult people, the extreme cult people, and the trolls, they will say this is fake too.
Philadelphia and Chicago against Donald Trump's attempted law enforcement takeovers and his expanded immigration crackdowns.
The people that are hitting the streets, thank you. You are patriots. You are patriots. If nobody told you and used that word, you are patriots. You are the modern day American patriot. Best believe it. You are. Just like Jasmine Crockett is a patriot. Just like those women that spoke to the public, givingly, sharing part of their life with the public for the benefit of the nation. They are patriots too.
All of this comes as new economic numbers show a weakening jobs market and rising prices as
But there's one particular thing in the data that's coming up. Watch.
Trump's tariffs take hold. Friday's jobs report showed employers added just 22,000 jobs in August. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%. Factories and construction firms shed workers, and the revised data showed the economy actually lost 13,000 jobs in June, the first monthly losses since the COVID-19 pandemic. And those numbers stand out even more against Trump's own promises on the campaign trail.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Did he end inflation? Is America more affordable again? If the U.S. is more affordable again, put a 1 in the chat. If it's not, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to see. Is the U.S. more affordable? Put a 1 in the chat. If it's not more affordable, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to see. Okay, 2. Yeah, again, if it's not more affordable, put a 2 in the chat. If it's more affordable, put a 1 in the chat. I mean, I don't know how the hell it could be more affordable. What the hell? But again, cult people be like that. Like, for real, cult people be like that.
I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Joining us now is Basil Smykel, MSNBC political.
They forgot to release the Epstein files on day 1 too. They forgot that part. MAGA people, how y'all feel about that? You still waiting for Trump to release the Epstein files? Let me ask you another question. Who the hell is waiting for Trump to release the Epstein files? I mean, I certainly am not, because those files are only going to release when you pry them out of his dead hands, like flat out. But let's listen.
Analyst and Columbia University professor, and Brendan Buck, former top communication advisor to Speaker Paul Ryan, and John Boehner. He's also
They're coming to some interesting data right here. I'm gonna let it play.
An MSNBC political analyst. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Basil, I want to start with you. 2 of the top issues: the economy and, surprisingly, threats to democracy.
Hey, do me a favor. If you appreciate the programming, please like the video. Please like the video. Please like the video. It helps more people hear it. Also, subscribe.
As much as the conversation we were having at the time, at the end of 2024, of that threats to democracy.
Here we go. You see this? Threats to democracy is at 24%. The economy. These 2 things are ranking highest among voters. And, well, among Americans, actually. It's not just voters here. But the threat to democracy. It's okay to take a threat to democracy serious. It's okay to take it serious. It's nothing. Don't feel like it's taking things too serious. No, your ass is on the line. Your livelihood is on the line. Your ancestors, everything, and your lineage in the United States of America is on the line. It's on the line. That's why all your allies are taking this motherfucker serious. That's why he's in bed with Putin. That's qualitative evidence that your ass is on the line for real. The enemy of the United States of America has been holding hands with Donald Trump. And keep this in mind, these Epstein files, which Donald Trump is all over, his dirty, greasy hands, right, are all over it. I mean, Crockett called him a potential pedophile, but, you know, people could imagine more than potential, right? But he's all in those files. And he walked Putin in. He walked Putin into the White House. Now, those Epstein files have been around for a minute. Look at all the activity with Putin. They say that the Russia files, blah, 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 was fake. That's what they always say. But this ain't fake. This is not fake. And on top of it, you can't see their relationship with Putin and Trump anything other than trouble, anything other than danger. You cannot see it any other way. It's not possible unless you are a person that falls for disinformation, like a lot of the MAGA people. A lot of the MAGA people picked up on this pedophile shit, and the only reason why they connected to it because they thought it was Democrats all inside of it. Bingo, dumbass, you were a victim of disinformation and gaslighting. Not only is it not just a Democrat or Republican thing, that shouldn't be why you're interested in it, but you shouldn't be into it only if you think some damn Democrats are into it. Are you weird or something? You should be on it because what the accusations are. But a lot of people, let's think about this. Hillary Clinton, they said she was on Epstein Island drinking blood. That was one of the QAnon theories. Wrong, asshole. You didn't have to go that far. It doesn't have to be Hillary drinking blood, goddammit. It could be serious implications, because Hillary drinking blood, baby blood, doesn't have implications for anybody else but the baby and her. Shit, espionage, right? This shit with Trump, that's more serious because it's real. Because it's real. And I'm only laughing at this because it's insidious. It is insidious. It's not funny. But anyway, let's play.
Not resonating with voters. What does this poll say to you about that?
Well, the economy we can understand because those job numbers have been really terrible. Inflation has been really significant for not just for most Americans, but certainly we're starting to hear that from farmers, from rural Americans, people who really supported the Trump agenda in one way, but are feeling on the other side of it, particularly with the tariffs. There's an interesting report, I think it was in Times the other day. John Deere, for example, is an incredible, a major company in the U.S. is feeling it on both sides.
Oh, Putin and China don't want John Deere doing well. Why would China want John Deere company that makes farming equipment doing well? Why would they want that when China's the competitor? China would like to make the same thing cheaper and sell it globally. Ironic, ain't it? That John Deere is suffering because of Trump's bullshit. Let's go on. I mean, people think, you can think this is not an attack, but this is an attack. This is an attack. It's an illness. It's a sickness. It's inside of the system.
Tariffs are raising costs on steel, but on the other hand, you have farmers who can't afford to buy their equipment.
I mean, a Deere
It's a virus.
$225,000.
Exactly right. And so when you start to see those ripple effects, you can understand the economy. The threats to democracy are critical because, yes, Democrats talked about that a lot last year. But I think even though a lot of Americans still want something to be done with respect to immigration and border security, I don't know that they signed up for what they're seeing in the streets right now. And that, the sort of ripple effect of that, if we're seeing this
right,
now,
because ironically, and this is Michael Cohen. He did some excellent broadcasting yesterday. I'm going to just play a clip of this real quick. But, the ill thing about it is that, let me just bring this back. Hold on one more second. Where did that go? Is it here? Did it disappear? Here, I'll bring this up here. Okay. This attack, it's more insidious than what a person with no imagination could imagine. It takes a little bit of imagination, but nonetheless, it's deep. But listen to this. Just listen to what he's saying here. The Supreme Court just did this. So Trump, at the very same time that he's over here meddling in John Deere, right? Things, China benefits from that. Would you want Trump to do something good for John Deere or for the farming industry in the U.S.? Yes, you would. But in a foreign attack, if the enemy was controlling Trump, he would want you to hurt John Deere. He would want you to hurt farming. He would want you to hurt the American people's pockets, and he would want you to send the military in on them and attack them. That's what the enemy of the United States would want. You see, that's exactly what an enemy to the United States would want. And while you're having this, at the same time, then the judges play their little ping pong effect. They add on to it by allowing him and just gradually, every step of the way, just keep expanding the executive power. Watch this.
Can you explain what this
isn't that what an enemy would want?
ruling allows Trump to do? Yeah, so the Supreme Court, as part of
I mean, if you want to create a civil war in the United States, what you would do is strip Americans of their civil rights. That's what you would do.
shadow docket, has overturned, or at least blocked for now, a lower court decision that made it illegal for, in the words of that lower court, the government to, quote, conduct roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them without a warrant, without their consent, and without reasonable suspicion that they are without status. I mean, I have to tell you, Brian, even by this Supreme Court standards, I am taken aback by this. You essentially have the U.S. Supreme Court blessing the use of race and language and job status as the grounds to detain people. And, you know, Justice Kavanaugh, who issued the only written statement sort of defending this, made it sound like this might be a minor inconvenience for people who are wrongfully detained, you know, who may, for example, be U.S. citizens or otherwise lawfully here. I don't think that that is, in fact, with all due respect to Justice Kavanaugh, a fair reading of what the hell is going on in cities like Los Angeles.
And so what is the principal pushback? Why did the district court, for example, rule against this in defiance for what would eventually be the Supreme Court's ruling overturning it?
It is, frankly, not hard to see what that pushback is, which is that you should not be able in the United States of America in 2025 to be pulled over, to be detained, to be questioned based on the fact that you speak Spanish, look Latino, and do some sort of day labor. Like, it is simply wrong that in a world in which the Supreme Court is saying that race may not be used in college admissions, in which, you know, it is considering whether or not race or language can be used in the drawing of congressional districts with protection of voting rights for those racial and language minorities, that you can, however, be pulled over by a roving band of federal officials on those same criteria. I mean,
so, you know, you could think that this is a coincidence. You could think that it's without purpose. No. He is trying to agitate the public and incite a civil war. That is what Trump is trying to do on purpose, because if an enemy of the United States had control over a president or an administration or judges or anything like that through blackmail, honeypot, this kind of scheme, if the enemy or an enemy of the United States had control over that administration, he would want them to do this. This is what they would want him to do. I mean, what else do you think an enemy of the United States would want to do? Good things? Bring you health care? Bring, you know, bring you, that almost sounds so ridiculous, right? Bring you health care. Yeah, you better think about that. But no, an enemy would not want to bring you health care, you know. But let's continue. Let me just let this play. This is Democracy Docket. Brian Cohen also.
You know, it is. I spend a lot of time trying to explain what it is that federal courts are doing. And I try to be even-handed, even when I disagree with the Supreme Court or I disagree with a federal court's decision in articulating what the rationale is or what the debate is. This one is hard to justify what the rationale or the debate is.
You know, there is an existing case right now that's working its way through the court.
All right, so you heard that. Now, that's in effect right now. That is in effect right now. Right now, racial profiling has been granted under the Supreme Court, under Scotus. They have done this. Okay, and it's not just by chance. It's not just by chance. Yeah, you could draw whatever conclusions you want to that, but my opinion is that it's not by chance, that it is part of basically a coordinated effort to change the United States of America at its root foundations, you know. But let's get back to this now. Let's see here. Now, more shit has come out about Trump. It's all not a surprise. But again, this is the honeypot scheme. And the allegation is that it's not just one person, that it's more than Trump. This is bigger than Trump. Crockett, Jasmine Crockett said this is bigger than Trump. Yes, and it is. And I've been saying that for quite some time now, months. As soon as this shit kicked off, it's bigger than Trump. It is what it is. It's all out in the open. The moment you have Putin flying to the United States, to Alaska, any territory controlled by the United States, and getting the red carpet handed out to him, your nation's security is at risk. Your nation's security is at risk. And if you have any understanding of the danger, don't feel bad about going and registering yourself to get a firearm, like several firearms, and plan in your communities. Plan in your communities, defense of your communities, and people need to unite against this threat, because it's real, and it appears, it can look like somebody's trying to start a civil war in the United States through ripping back civil rights, through ripping away civil rights. And again, let me just play this one more time so people are clear about what type of civil rights. They're so egregious, and how the court has been slowly doing this. The same method they have done just now is what they've been doing for quite some time. People need to pay attention to this one more time.
A ruling allows Trump to do.
Yeah, so the Supreme Court, as part of its shadow docket, has overturned, or at least blocked for now, a lower court decision that made it illegal for, in the words of that lower court, the government to, quote, conduct roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them without a warrant, without their consent, and without reasonable suspicion that they are without status. Roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them without a warrant, without their consent, and without reasonable suspicion that they are without status. I mean, I have to tell you, Brian, even by this Supreme Court standards, I am taken aback by this. You essentially have the U.S. Supreme Court blessing the use of race and language and job status as the grounds to detain people. And, Justice Kavanaugh, who issued the only written statement sort of defending this, made it sound like this might be a minor inconvenience for people who are wrongfully detained, who may, for example, be U.S. citizens or otherwise lawfully here. I don't think that is, in fact, with all due respect to Justice Kavanaugh, a fair reading of what the hell is going on in cities like Los Angeles.
Oh, it's no sound? Okay, thanks for telling me. Now check this out. Look at this. This is the first time I am reading this. This is the first time. And this is horrendous. Jeffrey, the text goes on. The text says, Jeffrey showing early talents. This is the text that's on the picture. The picture's coming. Jeffrey showing early talents with money plus women. Sells fully depreciated name redaction. That's the girl to Donald Trump for $22,500. Reads a handwritten caption on the page, which includes a photo of Epstein, a longtime Mar-a-Lago member, Joel Pascal, holding a massive check. The caption goes on, showed early people skills too, quote, unquote. Even though I handled the deal, I didn't get any of the money on the girl. That is just some sick talk. Yeah, this is horrid. This is horrid. Damn. This is horrid. Okay. Now this is the picture. Right, it's getting smaller. And allegedly, this is a check. You know, of course, it doesn't have to. It's a symbolic check. This obvious check. But then again, if you don't search the wire transfers and if you don't do the money transfer part of it, the dollar investigation, right? Forensics. Then you don't know if this is just symbolic. This might be a symbolic check, but maybe he really did pay that much. What do you think? But here's the text. It's a joke. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe not. Maybe it's meant to be a perverse type of read between the lines thing. You never know. Who knows? But here it is. And what can you say about it? I mean, a MAGA person. What is a MAGA person going to say? That it's just that it's fake? Is that what y'all gonna say? Let me know. Let me know. But anyway, let's go on. We're almost done.
Washington Post. Here's what's newly emerged and confirmed as of September 8th to 9th, 2025, regarding developments from Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book and the troubling assertions tied to Donald Trump. Hash what's been released. The House Oversight Committee has released hundreds of pages from Epstein's 2003 birthday book, which was compiled by Ghislaine Maxwell for his 50th birthday. The Washington Post. Among the documents is a drawing and a note allegedly from Trump. The sketch features a nude female outline framing typewritten dialogue. A fictional...
Barbie Lenz, they definitely will find a way to defend it. Why? I mean, as they always do.
Exchange between Donald and Jeffrey, signed Donald J. Trump, with the words, open quote, happy birthday, and may every day...
But I'm going to tell you something for the MAGA people out there, right? You could try to defend this all you want in your own brains. That's great. You keep pretending. You keep proving to yourself or whatever you got to prove. But when it comes to taking away American rights, myself, taking away civil rights and all of that, I'm on some Charleston Heston shit. I'm more like, you're going to have to take this shit out of my dead hands, like flat out. Like, and I advise all other Americans to react the same way. Even women, arm yourself. Don't be afraid, because this is the perfect example of what these people think about women. These people don't give a damn about women. That's the whole point. They are misogynistic, not just pedos. They are also misogynistic. They are also fascist. They are also obviously racist. They employ racist this racist bullshit where they're going to do racially profiling. I mean, come on, whether who knows who I mean, I don't even like to use racism really myself that much anymore, because the other shit is so prevalent. You don't even have to. I mean, misogyny is just as bad. You see what I mean? It's just as bad. Being a fascist, you don't have to just be a racist to be bad. It could be a lot of things. And really, about the women, it can be no worse. They're literally saying they do not stand with the girls who were sex trafficked, and they just don't fucking care. So yeah, arm yourself, ladies.
May be another wonderful secret. The Washington Post, another page shows a novelty check signed DJ Trump, payable for $22,500, accompanied by the caption, Jeffrey showing early talents with money plus women, sells fully depreciated, redacted to Donald Trump for $22,500. This has been interpreted as a crude joke about selling a woman to Trump, Bufio, the Washington Post, close quote. Official responses and reactions. Donald Trump and the White House vehemently deny any involvement, calling the material fake. Trump filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and its parent companies over the stories reported.
Now, if you think Trump is going to win this case against the Wall Street Journal, put a 1 in the chat. And if you think he's not going to, put a 2 in the chat. I don't think he stands a chance on winning that Wall Street Journal shit because it's already been proven it exists. His signature is on it, but let's go. Let's move on. I'm sorry. Let's keep going. There's more on this. Here we go. Let's get to the picture. Earlier this month, blah, 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 Wall Street Journal. Everybody knows that. Let's go. Rupert Murdoch, $10 million. I think Rupert Murdoch is going to win the countersuit, and I think it's going to be big. Let's see here. Okay. La, 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 la. Friendship has been long documented while Trump has since distanced himself. Okay, Epstein, la, la, la. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Okay. It isn't clear how the letter with Trump's signature was prepared. Inside the outline of the naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein, yes, written in the third person. Okay. So let's see here. Voiceover. There must be more to life. There must be more to life than having everything. The note began. Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is, Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yes, we do. Come to think of it. Donald. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald, potential pedophile, Trump. And I'm only saying potential because, there are laws I still honor to some degree, but let's go on. Then there's this other thing here. Let's see here. Is it here? Okay. Here we go. Submission with a black name, handwritten poem with a rhyme scheme. The poem included an acronym VFPC with the asterisk that said it stood for Vanity Fair poster child, a reference to the magazine profile Epstein was in. Okay. Let's see here. 2 lines of the poem read, blonde, red, or what? Hold on. Who is this? These are all the accounts. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Right. Who are they talking about here? They are talking about Leon Black. Okay. So his poem. Here we go. All right. Sorry about that. I'm glad I caught that. I missed it for some reason. This poem says, 2 lines in the poem read, blonde, red, or brunette, spread it out geographically. Oh my God. With this net of fish, Jeff's now the old man and the sea. Damn, these dudes are nasty, man. It was signed Love and Kisses Leon. These are just some. These are grown ass men. This is like teenagers, like 15-year-old boys in the locker room. Like, seriously, this shit is disgusting. It's worse than disgusting. I don't know what to make of it. I just couldn't think myself to even write something like this, to even say something like this, to think something like this. It's pure weirdness. Okay, Epstein ties. Okay, Nathan Myhrvold, the chief technology officer of Microsoft. Okay, damn. That's also, he's also, I mean, well, there's loads of people, but in any case, forget that, y'all. This is just the initial things coming from places that people didn't even ask for. I mean, people asked for the Epstein files. That's what they asked for, and people are getting everything else. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. What you're seeing here, the Epstein files are 1,000 times worse, like on a whole nother level you could imagine, like horrid. Like you could imagine, it's going to step up to series level, and I don't even think the public is prepared for it. I think when the public find out what is in those Epstein files, they're going to wish that they prepared themselves before it, and I mean that in every way. Like what is in those files, if you ask me, my opinion is very simple. It spells danger. There's some danger for the American public that's inside of there. And the quicker people get around to addressing that danger and releasing those files to be so everyone could see what the danger is, But I'm going to end this on Jasmine Crockett's words. This is her advice. I appreciate y'all. Click the like button, subscribe. I'll be back with y'all later on today. Not too long. I'm free. I got the whole day. So I'll be back in a couple of hours. Peace, y'all.
You're digging in and sort of unpacking a lot of that kind of information to sort of connect bigger dots to the dots we already
absolutely.
have.
So here's the thing. Like, obviously, this is concerning to have a potential pedophile as a president. That is concerning, right? But this is like even bigger than him. I want people to understand the information that we were given about foreign governments and their participation, the information we were given about our own federal government and how high of a level we're talking about as far as like them being in cahoots. We know that JP Morgan Chase ended up paying out a large settlement because they basically kind of looked the other way as there were these ridiculous wire transfers that were going by. We know that there were fake corporations that were set up. We know that, or at least we've been told that there were fake immigration documents that were put together so that women from other countries could end up over here. We know that there were allegedly fake marriages. It reeks through every single level of government. And it's one of those reasons that these survivors have been quiet for so long, right? Because literally they would walk in and they would see these pictures of Epstein with all of these powerful people from all over the world. And then he would threaten them and say, if you say anything, just know I know everybody, right? And so I think if we are going to prevent Epstein 2.0, or if Epstein 2.0 is taking place right now, I think it's important that we nip this in the bud right now and we learn what we did not know and we put some safeguards in place to prevent this type of thing from